Hey, what's up guys? Christian over at Enfit Car Stereo. Today we're in a 2012 Volkswagen GTI. We're going to show you how to install first of all, we're going to show you how to remove the radio. And depending on what video you are watching, it's either going to be a radio removal video or a radio installation video. This car has the, I think, RNS 310 this is called, navigation radio, and we're installing the brand new Pioneer AVIC 8200 NEX. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to show you how to take out the radio. You're going to grab a panel tool. Panel tools come in a set of 5, or you can buy them individually. You get a big, decent discount if you buy the whole set. For this, I'm going to say we're probably going to use this one. This is the PPT3. All right, so you're just going to go over here, and you're just going to, once it pops out, do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Now, for this one, I would actually use the other one, the PPT4. Because this one is what it's made for, is for wedging. But if you don't buy the whole set, because last thing you want to do is push on the buttons. All right, there it goes. All right, now once you get the other one out, you can either use this. I would actually use a bone tool, but let me see, for the sake of, let me see what I usually would do. You can get the job done with either one, but when you have the whole set, it makes it a little easier. All right, there you go, up here. All right, and then, all right, and then there, and then there. All right. All right, now when you take it off, you'll see these clips. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and every once in a while, see, if you look at all these clips, what they are is that they're plastic. So what happens is these metal clips are stronger than the plastic, so they don't always hold on. That'll be easier to take off once the radio's out. So all you got to do really is what we do, is you put them back in here, clean up this as much as you can, and put a little dab of crazy glue or hot glue on there. They're just not designed well, because metal's stronger than plastic. It's common sense. All right, now to take out the radio, you're going to 4 T20 Torx screws, counterclockwise. All right. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, once you get the 4 screws out, all you have to do now is pull on the radio, and it comes right out. Let me switch angles so we can show you the back real good. All right, guys, now next thing we're going to do is we're going to show you how to pull out the radio and all the connections on it. So just grab the radio and pull it out. That's a little snug. Now what I'm going to do is you can use a towel or whatever you want. This is actually a toolbox draw liner for you guys at home. If you go to your local hardware store and you get the stuff in the organization now, it's the same stuff for cheaper. All right, so we're gonna put that here, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it under it so we don't scratch up the radio. Just put the shifter back so we get a little more room. All right, so first thing we're gonna do here is just connect. This is the GPS antenna adapter. All this generation of Volkswagen have the satellite radio, XM Sirius satellite radio. They all have the XM Sirius built into the radio, so there's no external tuner. So if you're adding Sirius XM to your car, you have to buy the external tuner. All right, we'll show you that later in the video. All right, now if you go over here, the white connector, this one is going to be your AM FM. Okay, so all you got to do, just like the other one, oh, looks like this tab's already out, but you just put the little tab, pull it back, and then once it pulls back, you just squeeze, and it comes right out. Okay, so that's your AM FM. In the back of the car, you have the antenna's in the window actually. And then these 2 wires connect to the boosters. These are both for your AM FM reception. All right, now this little blue one is for GPS. So if you have a GPS radio, this will be back here. I don't think the Volkswagens have the antenna on the roof unless you have GPS, but we also have an adapter for this to use with the aftermarket radios. So same thing as that one. Release the tab. Let me just show you real quick in case you didn't get that. On all these adapters, what you do is you just release the tab, and once it's out, then you squeeze and it comes right out. Okay. Now, as far as the main harness, This is the main harness over here. Okay, so all we're gonna do for this is squeeze the bottom, and once you squeeze the bottom, the whole thing comes up like a lever. Okay, and then this right here is an input for a backup camera. This car is, the radio is equipped for it, but the car didn't come with it. So if you had a backup camera, there'll be a lever you squeeze and move out of the way. All right, this is the same removal for every radio, GTI, Golf, and I think even the EOS for this generation. So it's at about 2010. That's the end of the radio removal video. For you guys watching the radio installation video, we'll be right back. Real quick, guys, I just wanted to show you this before we continue with the install. For this car, we have a custom USB and auxiliary. Like I told you, my friend, well, I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but my friend doesn't use the auxiliary. He said, why am I going to use it? So this is a custom USB that plugs into the back of the radio. It's like factory style. We also have an auxiliary you can put in on the side of it. I have had other customers modify the USB because, you know, this radio has 2 USBs, so they've modified them to work, both of them. And also you can do the auxiliary. You kind of do a little, you know, drumming because they're designed, the aux is designed to go in here, but with a little bit of easy trimming you can fit them behind there. Just wanted to show that before we continued. And we also have a video on how to install these, so look out for that one too. All right guys, so the first part of the installation I'm going to go through is actually going to be the antennas. Like I said, this blue one is your satellite GPS antenna. So this is an NFIG GAA, so GAA sensor GPS antenna adapter, and this is 2. 2 is the code we use for Pioneer, and then blue is for that one. So what this does, this plugs into your factory FACRA, lock it in, and then this plugs in directly into your Pioneer radio, so you could use the factory GPS antenna. It gives you better accuracy and just more satellites than the one that came with the Pioneer. Alright guys, the next antenna adapter is the XM Sirius satellite antenna adapter. So that's a green one over here. This is the NFIG SAA SIR20 green. Check the website, check the video in the description. We've just changed a bunch of the names because we're making a bunch of different stuff. But alright, so this is the factory XM antenna. We're going to plug it into here. Make sure you lock that little thing up. And then this is the current XM tuner, the SXV3000. So this end plugs into the radio. So the GPS antenna connection is here. The Sirius XM connection is here. I'm going to plug that in right there. What I usually do is I usually leave it a little room. All right, and then I just put a little piece of tape or zip tie, usually tape. So that way if it gets yanked down, it doesn't come apart. You might also put tape over here. All right, and then this plugs into the radio. All right. The next antenna we're going to worry about is your AM/FM. For the AM/FM antenna, we have the NFIG AAA VW AUD5. All cars that are Sirius ready have the antenna behind the radio. On the GTI, they were all Sirius ready, but if you have a Golf and it has the RCD 310 without Sirius XM, then you don't have this antenna in the car. But for the AM/FM, they all use the same connector. So this is the dual FACRA. So what you do is you plug this into here. Okay, and snaps into there. Sometimes a little rough. All right, and push that into there. So what this does, this converts it into the standard, what they call Motorola style, that all the most of the aftermarket radios use. So that goes there. And what this little wire does, this wire hooks up to the antenna turn on. If your radio does not have an antenna turn on, you hook it up to the amplifier turn on. And what this does is turns on the boosters, or the amplifiers, I guess you want to call them, that connect to the antenna in your window. All right. So with that said, if you have, this is an NFIG SRWH VW07. No matter what car you use this for, if you use one of our plug and play systems, see this right here? If you look next to the red, like right above that red, you see those empty spot? This is where the blue wire will always go. Our system's uniform for Blaupunkt, so Blaupunkt always uses that connector right there. So that goes in there, and you're going to hear a click. All right, and that's that. So now that we're talking about that, let's move on to it. This is the NFIG SRWH VW07B. All right, that's the one you use for this car. This plugs into here. All right, then the other, just like that. Boom. And then it has all your speakers, your power. It has all your speakers on this side. I'll just separate them. Okay, so that's all your speakers. On this side, the black is the ground, the yellow is always on, and the white and gray twisted pair, that's your CAN bus wires. In this car, a lot of features are handled by a CAN bus system, which means that it's a data system. It's not like for example, my 2001 GTI, when you turn on the key, there was a red wire here that would tell the radio to turn on. In this car, when you turn on the key, it talks to the computer, and the computer, via these two CAN bus wires, tells the radio to turn on. So what this is a CAN reader. So as you see over here, we have the power, ground, and the twisted wire. That's the input side. That inputs the data and the power into the box. The box speaks Volkswagen and spits out regular electricity. So this orange wire is the illumination wire. That shows voltage when your headlights are on, so you could dim the radio. Most radios that have this also have a feature to turn off if you don't like it. This red wire sends electricity when the key is on, and it keeps it until you pull out the key, so that way it turns on and off the radio. This green one is what they call the parking brake wire, but a lot of radios with screens require a parking brake, so you can't access safety features while the parking brake is up. They do that so you're not driving, watching video, or playing with the features that are distracting. The way our parking brake works is that it only shows ground when the car is not moving. So if you're driving and you stop at a light, it'll show ground and allow you to play with the features. Once you start moving again, it blocks them out. So it's a little in between what they want and, you know, what you shouldn't be doing. If you want to keep the safety feature, the only problem about this one is that a lot of the radios require you to pull up the parking brake, pull it down, pull it back up, and then it'll work. So you can keep this, but you have to use a bypass in order to keep it the way it's going. You can read more about that on the website. All right, this is vehicle speed sense. What this does is pretty much tells you how fast the car is going. That improves accuracy with the GPS. I will be using that on this radio. And this is the backup wire that tells the car you're in reverse for the backup camera. If you add a backup camera, you know, that just tells the car. So those are the outputs. Now on this side we have steering wheel controls. So the way our system works, most systems you have to program. Our system you don't have to program. Our system, once you plug this in, this is an SWCL pile for Pioneer radios. You plug this in, you see all these little loops over here? These loops tell this box, hey, we're doing a Pioneer radio, just program the box for Pioneer. But when you plug this in, you have to unplug this, wait about 5 seconds, and then plug it back in. Of course, it's getting electricity from the car, so that's why you have to do it. If you haven't plugged this in, you're doing this at the bench, once you get here, plug it in, and then unplug and plug. So now, once you put power onto this box, these loops say, hey, Pioneer, and that's it, you're done, no programming. All right, so as far as the wiring, oh, there's one more piece I forgot. Like I said, this is made for, well, let me get the harness, I'll be right back. All right, guys, like I said, this is made to plug into a Blaupunkt radio. So this is the harness that came with the Pioneer NEX 8200, AVIC NEX 8200, I believe. 8200 NEX. Everyone just calls it 8200, I have no idea. So pretty much this is the harness that it comes with, okay? And then this is the Enfig PMP Pile 0236, all right? So what this does is that this is an exact copy of the harness that came with the Pioneer. Actually, if you look at it, it looks like our wires are a little thicker, or at least the shielding is. So you see, exact everything. Okay, so this has a conversion plug on it to go from Blaupunkt to Pioneer. All right, so you plug this into here, plug this into here. Okay, there you go. And then if you look at the pink wire is vehicle speed sense. It goes pink to pink. Green wire is parking brake, green to green. All right. There's a light green. This should be a light green, but that's good enough. And then the reverse wire, purple with a white stripe, goes to purple with a white stripe. All right, you see it right there. Okay. And that's it. This is an amplifier. Well, where is it? There it went. The blue and the white is an amplifier turn on. It's not used, so don't forget, these plug and play harnesses are made for everything. So, for example, this plug and play harness should can be used on any car as long as you use one of our wiring harnesses. So the amp turn on is not used in this car, so it wouldn't hurt to put a piece of tape around that. I mean, it's protected anyway, but just in case you don't want it slipping out, you know. All right, so that's it. So that's basically all the wiring. So next thing we're going to show you is the dash kit, and we're going to show you the mounting of the radio, and then we're going to show you putting everything back in. We'll be right back. All right, guys, now we're going to show you how to mount the RMK PB-VW07. Pretty much it's the piano black, because the shiny black matches the controls down below. So first thing you're going to do is going to mount the back plate. All right. It mounts using the factory mounting points. You got the 3 screws and an even 4 screws. And it even has like the little Y to fit the gap over here. All right. And then just don't over tighten it. Like I'm going to have my clutch at 8. And then put opposite corners in. You don't want to over tighten and crack the plastic. Every once in a while I get someone saying this thing is junk. And what happens is if you over tighten it with the plastic, it's going to snap on you. I think I did both of these, but don't remember. What you're hearing is the clutch, so what happens is when it feels resistance, it lets go. That way you don't damage anything. All right, next thing is the metal cage. If you look at this metal cage, you see it has side tabs. For this car, we use the most forward one, so it's going to be this one, and then the opposite one, which is the bottom one on this end. And then when you look at the bottom, usually these two. You don't have to go too crazy with the tabs. I might also recommend mounting this first, then going to the car and doing the tabs, because sometimes if you bend the tabs too much, you might not want to go into the car. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do this one right here, and try to keep the tabs aren't going to do that much of the work. Once you put the radio in, the radio is going to squeeze out, and then that's really what's going to hold everything in. I've actually had cars come in here, well, not in this car, but like certain Audis, and they've actually put the radio cage in without bending any tabs, and it holds fine. This is not the one I meant to bend. It was the one up top, because you want the ones closest. So see, when you're here, it doesn't move. So we got the bottom, top over here, and then if you look at the top, you'll see this one and this one, and then on the bottom we have we not being bend that one here, and then that one here. All right, so you see it's all nice and snug. Also try to make sure that you don't bend it so much so the cage is warped. You see the cage has even spacing. Well, actually, but anyway, it's snug enough right there. Okay. So next thing you do is the radio mounting. Okay. If you look at the cage will come with the cage will come with these clips. So what it is you put the copper one down first. I usually like to put it a little bit above the lip over there. All right. And then you use these 2 screw holes back here. And then what happens is you put the copper first, then the metal, then this over. All right. For this particular radio, which is the Pioneer AVIC NEX, AVIC 8200 NEX, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 from the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 from the back. I just did the 4200 in my CC. I used the same 2. All right. So what you're going to do there is you make all your connections in the back, and then what you do. It's a good thing that happened, because then we can show. All right, so what happened over here, if you look, some of the screws weren't screwed on tight enough. Yeah, I don't have the screw in here. All right, so just not to show, we're going to make this on Benny Hill time, so we're going to fast forward through me going to get the screw and come back. All right, I'm back, and I meant screwdriver, not screw. I just want, sometimes people think, I like keeping my videos as honest as possible, because sometimes people, be careful not to over screw, because you don't want the threads, but as you can see, this side is sticking out way too much. Oh, that was the one right there. I can tell you right now. As soon as I touched it, it went right through. All right, so it's in like that. And next thing you do, you put the trim on. Okay. And then you put the trim for the dashboard. On last. All right, pop it on. Oh, that's not. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm going to come back and show you the wiring. This is just a quick version. I'm also going to show you the different kit, because if you look at that, this matches the car. Okay, so we're going to show you that too. So pretty much this is the end of the install, but we're going to get in depth, showing you the different faces and also showing you how we plug and tuck everything. All right, guys. So now we're going to go into the more in depth. Just not everyone. People get bored. It's a lot easier. I didn't put on that center clip isn't fixed yet because I know it's a lot easier to get out without it put in. That was going to give us a problem at the beginning. All right. So I just wanted to show you real quick. This is our piano black coating. Oh. Come on. There it is. That's how you remove the trim. You just put it in the bottom. All right. This is our... That's a piano black. This is RMK8. RMK8 is the one that matches the car. But if you kind of notice, we had the same problem when we first installed this. I'm just gonna put it like that real quick. Where it's like it matches the car, so great. But then the piano black looks too gaudy. Then wait a minute. But the piano black looks better even though this matches better. So your car, you make the choice. I can't remember a single person that didn't take the piano black, but this is why I'm showing you, because we have all the options. But you can go back and forth in the video and make a decision yourself. The one that's black doesn't even match this car, so that's the RMK7. So I just showed you the RMK8 and the RMK PB. All right, let me get this radio out and we'll show you how everything goes back in. All right, guys, so now that we got the radio, I'm going to come back and show you how to install everything. First thing we're going to do is the Sirius XM antenna. So we're just going to plug that into the factory antenna. Boom. Boom. This is pretty much real time. We're going to put a little tape around here to keep it from pulling out while you're back there. All right. And then we're just going to take this antenna and just tuck this back here. Usually find like I usually put it between harnesses, so that way it doesn't rattle around. You just jam it. Actually, what the hell? The rubber band back there. There it is. All right. And then the next thing we have is the GPS antenna adapter. So like I said, this uses the factory antenna on the roof for GPS. AM/FM antenna adapter, dual. Boom. Put that in. So that is plugged into the SRWH VW07B. We also have a VW07M. The M version gives you a couple more features, like it shows a display on the cluster for certain radios, and it also shows you a couple more features on steering control, and it also gives you, if you have the Climatronic, the display and all that stuff, and the parking sensors, which I don't think GTI ever came with. But anyway, so that gets tucked in back there. That gets plugged into the SRWH, the PMP PIO 0236. That's all gets tucked. All right, we got one. We got the SWCO PIO. Oh, don't forget to program this thing. So unplug it, give it 5 Mississippis, and then plug it back in. All right, so now it's programmed for Pioneer. So we got this. Mic we're gonna run. Just gotta run it in a few seconds. And this goes here, this goes here. What am I missing? That's it. It's so easy. Sometimes I feel like I'm missing something. Alright, so the GPS antenna plugs into the Pioneer one. Alright. And then we have the wired remote. The WR plugs into here. Some of you guys might want to tape the wired remote to this one. That way, if you ever have... Sometimes people push it in and it slips out. XM Sirius goes up here. And AM/FM goes up here. And the only thing it's missing is a microphone. And we also have the custom USB and AUXs down below. So we have the custom USB and AUX that go in front of the shifter. My friend who owns this car, he said if someone comes into my car and asks for an aux, I'll just kick him out because who uses auxes? That's what Bluetooth is for. So that goes right in there. I get that click click. This goes right there. Alright. And now this goes right over here. Alright. Snapped in nice. Now I just wanted to show you real quick the difference. So that's the piano black, if you can imagine it. This is the one that matches the car. See, it matches perfectly. Now that's the piano black. This one matches perfectly, piano black. You know what? Once we're done here, I'm gonna switch back and forth so that way you guys can make up your mind. Alright, so pretty much here. You wipe this down. Thing's too pretty to be this dirty. Actually. Alright, so I'm going to put on the radio real quick. Alright, so volume up, volume down. When you hit the right arrow, it goes to your presets. When you hold it, it scans. And then when you're on this one, when you go up, it goes one by one. Alright? When you get a phone call, when you tap the phone button, it picks up. And when you hold it, it hangs up. Or if call comes in, when you hold it, it rejects it. Alright? So that's it. That's the Enfig SRWH VW07B. And, you know, the rest of the parts we used. Yeah, videos brought to you by EnfigCarStereo.com. We sell and install. We also ship worldwide. If you're a shop, we have wholesale accounts. Thanks for watching. EnfigCarStereo.com. My name is Christian if you have any questions. Oh, I forgot to. This has RAP, which means that it will stay on until you pull out the keys. So you see the keys halfway out. When I pull it out, it pulls off. All right, thanks for watching.